Over the last few years, business leaders have indicated to me that they felt that somehow 9001-2008 edition wasn't really saying much to them, that somehow the language was aimed at other people in their organisation. And I did get what they were saying, but I also know this wasn't the intent of ISO. What I thought was really useful was ISO actually carried out a very large worldwide survey. I think nearly 12,000 professionals were interviewed. And it was asking them, you know, what do you think of the current standard? What do you think is missing? Do you think anything should change, or do you think it should carry on? And they found that a significant number of people did actually want the standard changed. Some wanted it changed more drastically than others. But what they asked for was, what are the key things you do want in the standard? So many of those things that came out of the survey are now in the standard. Risk-based thinking is in the standard. The whole standard is preventive in its approach. There certainly is more on measurement. There certainly is more about systematically learning. And there is even a section on knowledge management. So all those things are in the standard. And I do think it's great that this survey has really got ISO to listen to the customers. After all, it's all about customer satisfaction. Now at Batalas, where we train this standard, we've really analysed it in a lot of detail, and I do think business leaders are going to find the new standard much more aligned to their business strategy. Yes, so you may be wondering, you know, what the changes in 9001 mean to you as a member of the top management team, and there are several new things that you will need to do. For starters, it's no longer called management responsibility, it's now called leadership. So I think even as a concept that hopefully will resonate more with you. I think probably one of the big things that comes to mind is that in the old standard there was a requirement for a quality management representative, and I know for a lot of organisations this typically means a quality manager. This requirement has been removed. It doesn't mean you can't have a quality manager, but the reason it's been removed is that ISO wants you to demonstrate that you're more involved in the system and that you're accountable for its performance. This is something that can't be delegated anymore. So your quality manager can carry on doing certain tasks, providing the standard allows those to be delegated. It indicates this with the word ensure or a lack of the word ensure. Of course, ensure means something's got to be done, but it can be delegated. But there are lots of places where there isn't that word in the standard, so do watch out for those. For instance, you've got to be actively promoting some of the key concepts in the standard. You know, risk-based thinking, process approach, customer focus, of course, and also improvement, continual improvement, so that everyone is on board with those themes and what they mean and how that can lead to a successful management system. I suppose the other thing to point out is, whereas some directors may have come into the opening meeting of an audit and then maybe disappeared and left it to the quality manager, this isn't going to really work anymore, because there's so much more that you will have to demonstrate through an audit. So when your third-party auditor comes in, you're going to be asked a lot more questions. You know, how can you demonstrate your involvement and commitment to the system? And this might take some time, so you might be needed throughout the audit, as will the other members of the top management team. And generally, I think you'll find that in an audit you will be expected to demonstrate more through conversation, maybe through some records, that you are meeting the requirements of the standard. Leadership is not just confined to clause 5 in this new standard, it really is all over it. The other thing I noticed was the management review, a little bit more detailed than before. It includes all the previous things, you know, looking at internal audits, external audits, customer satisfaction. There's a little bit more in there about addressing risks and opportunities, opportunities for improvement, constantly thinking what can go wrong and how can we prevent it from going wrong. And that can be, you know, very broad, but ultimately, of course, it's all about meeting customer satisfaction and, of course, not breaking the law. The other thing I noticed in the management review was a need to sort of look at feedback from interested parties. In the context clause, it asks an organisation to identify all its interested parties that are relevant to the system. But of course, this may not just be about customers and suppliers, it could be about other people that may be affected, and because they may be affected, they may affect the ability of the company to achieve its objectives. So any feedback from those will need to be reviewed as well. 9001 2015 is really expecting a lot more from top management. There's a lot more requirements for top management to demonstrate their commitment to the system and their active involvement in the quality management system. And if the quality management system is completely aligned to the business, this should be a formality. But I know that it might be a challenge for business leaders, so I do advise them to really have a good look at the new standard and see what it's saying. And it is my belief that they will get more out of it, and it will help them as an organisation to make improvements. I hope this has been helpful. It's not to scare you, but it's to get you to really appreciate that ISO are now looking for more from you as a top management team. The quality manager, I appreciate, will still be very important to you, but you do have to demonstrate that accountability and involvement in the management system. Please talk to us at Batalas if you want to talk over any of these issues. If you want to talk about 9001, we can tell you what courses are available. We're happy to give you just general advice on the phone. And we have a lot to offer. We have people who are very passionate about quality management. We have people who are genuinely very interested in 9001 and people who want to help you get the best out of it. 9001 in the past has been seen as a very bureaucratic exercise. It really isn't. It's a way of achieving systematic and measurable improvement. And when it works really well. Do come and have a chat to us. We'll be delighted to help.